back to Contemporary Black Voices right here at Black Video Network. Our hot topic this week is about President Joe Biden delivering probably the best speech he's ever delivered in the State of the Union. I mean, he was good.
Excellent.
I was surprised.
Excellent.
Yeah. So what do y'all think? Was that a prelude to him getting ready to run for president again?
Oh, you want to take it or I'll take it?
Sure, I think it was definitely a prelude for him running. Now, he may not have even intended it to be that way, but when he got on a roll and he really started going. But the thing that I would like to caution everyone about is when you heard him talk about Social Security and you heard those Republicans say they're not going to stop Social Security, don't believe a damn word they say, okay? Because what they said on TV is not going to translate into anything that they're going to do in Congress. But Joe Biden did a great job. I thought Democrats got a rare treat, and I was very happy.
I know at one time he was talking about one of his initiative bills that put money into all these different cities. He said, every one of you Republicans voted against it, but boy, when they had the shovels.
Yeah, right there. He said, "Hey, I will see you at the groundbreaking."
Right.
Yeah. I tell you what, my take on it was a good speech. The first, and honestly, I want to say the first major, probably the first half of the speech, that could have been a speech that a Republican was giving. Honestly, because he talked about it was economics, small kitchen table issues. I did think that a lot of it, he did go small ball on a lot of stuff when he started talking about fees and he started to talk about interest rate. I mean, at the same time, it was stuff that people probably wanted to hear.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Caleb, didn't
but
that?
it was really small ball instead of like talking about a grand overall vision. You know what I mean? It was, you know, when you have some of the other Democratic presidents that talk about, like Kennedy talked about the moonshot and this and this. So he did kind of elaborate on a moonshot for cancer research. He should have it really went there on that, elaborated on that a little bit more to give the country kind of a grand vision, a grand unifying vision. That's something everybody, I think, can get.
But I think the majority of the voters are the small ball people, okay?
Yeah.
And so I think he appealed to those. And a lot of times I think our presidents, and especially some of the Democratic presidents, they go for the moonshot and they miss those people, the small ball people.
No, I definitely agree. So I mean, no, I don't. Again, I don't fault him for going there. I know why he went there. And as a matter of fact, I was thinking he should have. I would have gone in all the way. If you're gonna play small ball, I would have called out. I would have called out Mitch. I would have said, "Hey, Mitch, you know, I want to thank Mitch and the Senate for what we did together." Because I would have isolated the House, and I would have shown just how I would have contrasted my relationship with the Senate to show just how crazy they were. So I would have called out Mitch and said, "Hey, Mitch, we're going to go around the country and we're going to do all the jobs that we created together." And I would have thanked Mitch. I would have name checked him. I would have thanked, and then I would have put Kevin on the spot. And again, I would have put him on the spot and I said, "Hey, Kevin, Kevin and I are gonna work together, just like me and Mitch work together, and we're gonna get some big things done." I would have put him on the spot.
Oh, they'd have put him out. They'd have put him out the next day.
He did put him on the spot somewhat. He did.
I would really put him
Yeah,
on. And so, another thing is too, like I would have did if he was gonna go there, because he honestly spoke to Republican voters. He really did with some of the small ball kitchen table issues. He did speak to them. There was nothing they could say after his speech.
Yeah, the question I ask is, how could you say no to what he was saying?
You couldn't. He put him in the corner. So
he did.
The other thing I would have done was, and maybe even use this to strike a grand bargain. I would have said the last thing I would have got them on was, "Hey, I'm gonna put 1,000 new agents on the border. I'm gonna put 1,000 new border patrol." The Border Patrol is underfunded anyway, and it really wouldn't have made a difference. But they wouldn't have been able to say he's soft on the border.
Right.
So I would have just locked that down as well. I'm going to put 1,000 new board. Me and Kevin are going to work together. And Kevin, I'm going to send you a proposal, or you know what I mean? Or Kevin,
I'm putting it in my phone now for Biden to call Caleb.
No, I would have put Kevin on the spot, and I would have said, "We're going to work together. We're going to put 1,000 new agents on the border." And I'd have got a standing ovation. He'd have been standing up behind me applauding, and I would have had them stand up, and you locked them out.
But who are you appealing to with that?
You
Who are
appeal
you
to
gonna-
Republican voters
Yeah.
because he's already.
Why are you going to appeal to the Republican voters?
Because-
are you saying you could do that because you take us for granted?
No, because he's already fed us our red meat. A lot of stuff, a lot of the proposals that he came with, especially a lot of stuff in the second half of the speech, were a lot of Democratic stuff. So, and then, like I say, he's already fed. But the idea of, hey man, we created millions of jobs. We're doing infrastructure. We're doing, you know what I mean? So he really spoke to those kind of people who are the suburban Republicans.
Okay, was he talking to, appealing to the Trump Republicans?
No,
There's a 30% that he's never going to appeal to.
no.
That's
But he's gonna.
No.
But the middle and the towards the middle right and the middle, he was speaking to those that are reachable. And so I think that they would probably, because again, you have to understand they did put up with 4 years of crazy. And so a lot of those people are not going to go back to 4
And
years
when you
of
think
crazy.
about those airline fees he was talking about, or the
That's what he's speaking
the
to,
ticket
though.
fees and the
That's
different
what
things
he's-
like that.
that's
Hey
credit
man,
card fees.
I'm saying go Joe, go Joe,
No,
go
but
Joe.
he's speaking. That's what he's
sure
speaking to
did.
too.
Yeah.
Those suburban
Yeah.
white moms who are sitting around and they're looking at their credit card fees. And trust me,
Yeah.
hey, I work for the bank, so I hear about it.
Yeah.
And so I know about the fees, and I know what they complain about, and
Mm-hmm.
I know who he was speaking to. And so again, like I said, I would have just he had knocked down the Chinese balloon, and he had banged his fist on the table and talked about Xi Jinping, and he had talked. See, another thing he did as far as boxing him out is on all these infrastructure projects, everything that goes into them is going to be made in America.
Yeah, that
so
was
he
strong.
that was strong.
That was very
He was
strong.
speaking to Republican voters. And all the made in America stuff and all the infrastructure jobs and every we're gonna buy American, all the jingoism.
Well, he was
It
speaking.
speaks-
He was speaking to Democratic voters too.
We're not really into jingoism.
Well, we're into made in America.
So, but all that jingoism was that rah America. He
Yeah.
had those people. He had the Republicans standing up shouting USA.
Now, let me say this to you, Fred.
Yeah.
As black folks, I bet you I could go to the club or someplace to the barber shop, and they would still say, Joe Biden's not doing this, he's not doing that, he's not doing this or whatever.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
That's what you're going to get.
Because they don't really follow it closely.
Right.
They don't really follow it closely.
But at 3% unemployment, they may not be aware, but they feel that. They feel that. You
Yeah,
feel
they
that.
feel it, but
You
they
feel
don't know.
But that's not we're
You feel
higher
it.
unemployment.
What are we at now? About
6 or 7%.
About 6%.
Yeah.
We still feel that as opposed to 13%.
Yeah.
We still feel it.
Right.
We still feel it.
But then the question is, what kind of jobs are we getting? What kind
Well, I
of
mean,
jobs are
if
we
they're
getting?
shovel ready jobs that don't require a college degree, if you're looking at tech companies that are coming, and a lot of the manufacturing jobs, we feel that. We feel
Here's the thing about jobs right now, at least my opinion. I think any kind of job is a good job because what they've done is they've increased even the McDonald's and the fast
Yeah.
food jobs up to $17 or something an hour. But on the other hand, when you look at the inflation, when you got eggs at $8 a dozen,
Right,
yeah.
you know, or something like that,
Right.
that's where we got to begin to talk
Right.
about what's going to really happen.
Well, they managed the Fed have managed the inflation pretty good. So I mean, it's been coming down and it's continued to come down. They've managed it pretty well. A lot of the inflation was due to a shortage of chips, and so a lot of that has been alleviated as
And
far
they
as the
talk
global
about
chip.
Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah,
The new
Okay,
intel.
okay. This is contemporary Black Voices.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back to us. Okay.
okay.
How did that come across to Black people? How do you feel? His
I'm a
speech.
black person. I felt.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, again, just examining his speech, I knew what he was going. I knew what he's saying, and I like especially the economic aspect of the speech. I think that's something that's is beneficial to us as far as the economy keeps rolling. If the Fed continues to manage inflation, it's going to be good for us. I feel good about it. I feel good about a lot of stuff that he's doing now. There is the issue of ageism. and so that keeps rearing its ugly head. But I really think I think black folks are all in on Biden. I really do. I think we're all in on Biden, for good or for bad, because we don't really have a B or C or D choice.
Okay, what he did, I think, is he pointed to the parents of the young man that was beaten to death by those policemen, and did say that something has to be done. And he called on the Congress to do something.
And
I
assault
think-
rifles.
And assault rifles, yeah. I think that's the little bit, if he appealed directly to us, was directed. It was directed.
But
towards us.
let me answer your question. You know, and I alluded to this earlier. When you talk about how we felt about it, I would tend to guess, and I don't know the statistics, but that there were few of us who watched it. You and I, Fred, are news aficionado heads.
Yeah.
Okay, you and I are going to watch it, but the majority of the people you talk about, like a Karen Hunter or whatever, she said, "Hey, I didn't watch it," you know, and you got other people who talk about, "Well, no, I didn't watch it." And those are the same people that I talked about before who are going to say, well, Joe Biden didn't do this, he ain't doing this, and he's not doing that. So when it comes around to election time, these are the people that we still have to try to convince to vote for them because they say Joe Biden didn't do anything for us.
And then when they don't watch it, their kids
No,
don't watch
right,
it.
right.
Correct.
I want to go back. This is deviating somewhat to when you were describing what you do with your daughter. Your daughter's fortunate. Your daughter's fortunate. It's too bad all daughters
Right.
don't have that kind of dad.
Right.
They don't. And those are the ones that I think we have to be worried about. Your daughter's going to be okay. Okay. She's going to be okay. But for every one of your daughters, there's probably 10
Sure.
that aren't going to be.
I'm probably gonna have to worry about my daughter because my daughter's probably a little militant.
Oh, okay. Well, she comes well by.
I was going to say, look at her daddy.
She's militant. So my daughter would rock her she'll rock her BLM t-shirt or she'll have a Asada Shakur shirt on in a minute. My daughter's a little militant, so I'm gonna have to watch her.
Well, when you came in, Carl Booker, who's the editor of Black Life Texas, in terms of writing an article, said that, well, I got somebody more radical than Fred. You. Writing. So your daughter comes well by. Yeah.
Right.
So how isn't that the group that I don't know? And you raised the issue earlier. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? That's the group. How do we reach them? In order for our culture to survive and our race to survive, we have to figure out a way to reach those that don't have the Caleb Alexander's writer, well-established writer, as a dad. In fact, don't even have a dad.
And I would be willing to give up my seat at this bench, at this couch, for you to be able to bring in some young kids and interview them and ask them that question. Because we really need to know the answer to that. That question that you're asked, I think, is a very important question.
And you know what? I used to be cynical about the generation because I honestly did. I said, man, these kids are lazy. They can't think more than a tweet. You know what I mean? And they don't want to write cursive. And I mean, I used to be hard on them. The only thing they want to do is play Xbox and all this kind of stuff. And so after George Floyd, I saw this younger generation take to the streets. And I saw them take to the streets en masse, and I saw them stand in the face of those police officers without fear. And I saw them picking up tear gas canisters and throwing them back. And I saw a generation. I was proud of that generation because they really did. They took me by surprise. They got up off the couch. They put the Xbox controllers down. And they hit the streets when it mattered.
And I agree with that, Caleb, but I also talk about when the protest is over, what happens?
I think they're still, to a certain extent, they're organized, and so I see points of light. And some of the stuff that I read and see, and I see points of light out there,
that's
man.
encouraging.
I see young folks that are involved in a lot of different initiatives as far as leadership goes. And then you have to understand too, man. A lot of these, well, younger folks, younger than me, younger folks that went to they're leaders, man. These people came back from Iraq and Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Same way a lot of those brothers came back from Vietnam. And so a lot of these people come back from Afghanistan and they're natural leaders. And so they're taking up positions and starting initiatives within their communities. You know what I mean? So I'm optimistic, a lot more than I was before. When I'm very optimistic. Like I said, man, I was so proud of this generation. I really was. And so even fights that I thought were ridiculous, and I was like, you know what I mean? Because I grew up with Uncle Ben, I grew up with Aunt Jemima, and so I was thinking, are you guys serious? You know what I mean? And the younger generation taught me that symbols matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so again, I'm stuff that I didn't think about challenging, causes that I didn't want to even bother taking up. I was proud of them.
I'm still having trouble getting my pancakes because I don't know who to look at on the bottom, right? I used to pick up Aunt Jemima. She ain't there no more.
I just go with Mrs. Butterworth.
Okay.
But no, but I was, like I say, I was proud of them. I'm proud of this generation. I see, and again, I do see points of light, and I'm encouraged. And so again, it's just getting them to the next step. And it's a lot of the young generation that are organizing. You know what I mean? There's a lot of those kids that got out there and took to the streets and went out there and organized and got out got out to vote stuff for Stacey Abrams in Georgia. So I mean, you see points of light, and I'm pleasantly surprised.
Well, I'm going to encourage Fred and Carl to give up our seat to be able to bring in some young people, because I think that is very important that we hear from them.
Okay, we'll look into that. So let's go to closing remarks.
Okay.
Let's start with you, Chris.
Fly, Eagles, fly. It's Super Bowl Sunday coming up, and I want to end on a lighter note and say I'm going with the Eagles all the way.
Okay. Caleb.
I don't know. But it's Sharon. I hope you get well soon.
Yes, absolutely.
We miss you.
We
definitely
need
miss you.
We do.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not sure. As far as the closing statements, as far as 1619, again, it is something where we have to go, and you have to go out and find your history. You know what I mean? Because these folks aren't going to teach it to you, and they don't want you to learn it.
That's
and
right.
there's a reason why they don't want you to learn it, because they don't want you to deal with each other in a certain way. And so you have to learn your history, be proud of your history, be proud of your contributions to this country, be proud of your contributions to world history. You have a beautiful history, a powerful history, a beautiful culture. Everywhere you are, you've built a beautiful culture. And so you have to be proud of that and be proud of the way, and you deal with each other in that manner. Deal with each other in a manner where you show that you're proud of who you are, and you show that you're proud of the culture that you've built. You are people who are resilient and creative, artistic, dynamic, and you're beautiful people, beautiful skin, and take pride in that. And so that's my closing. What these people are trying to do, they can't do, because they can't suppress your history. Man, you are the creation and the glory of the Creator, who created your beautiful skin and made your beautiful skin a testament, because He gave you your skin and He gave you the sun. You know what I mean? And that's my.
I think I need to give my contribution, right?
So, that's mine.
Okay. So what you're saying, like James Brown said loud, I'm black
and I'm proud.
And Curtis Mayfield, we are winners.
Yeah.
Yes. So this has been a great time today. We made it through without
barely without
sharing.
without
So we'll see you next week with Contemporary Black Voices and another important topic.